All right, hello everyone. I am State Representative Wick Thomas. I am a former librarian and I currently represent the 19th District in the House of Representatives of Missouri. I was at the press conference earlier today and I was also at the story time this week, and the threats coming out of the Attorney General and the Secretary of State's office are unfounded. It was a lovely story time attended by dozens of families who all chose to be there. These books being accessible to our communities is not what they said it was. I do not believe in government censorship, and all of these families chose to be there. I think it's also important that librarians are uniquely poised to be able to represent their community, and they buy books for their community that the community wants. Queer youth exist. I know because I was one of them. I came out at 16 in rural Missouri, actually in the same district that Senator Bratton represents now, which is why it is especially infuriating that his language and this political stunt that he's using for his campaign is going to harm kids like me, kids who grew up in rural Missouri who were just looking for community, while legislators in the Missouri State Capitol made their lives harder and convinced their families to turn away from them. That is not right, and that is not a Missouri value, and it is one that I will always fight. Right now, we are in a very unique place. We do not need threats from government officials. We are one of the last in teacher pay. What we need is to be funding education, not threatening librarians. What they have received this week was threats of complete defunding and potentially registering librarians as sex offenders for having books like Rainbowsaurus available in their libraries. I heard in the press conference earlier that they had not read these books. And in Hoskins' letter, he specifically says that they are above the level of cognitive development for that age. While they may be above the cognitive development level of our Secretary of State, I do not believe they are for children. And so I would like to do a quick reading of Rainbowsaurus. And again, don't worry, it is short. I know y'all got things to do. But Rainbowsaurus by Steve Antony. We're following a rainbow to find the Rainbowsaurus. We're following a rainbow. Would you like to join us? Moo, said the red cow, and off they marched together. Moo, moo, moo. Rainbowsaurus, where are you? We're following a rainbow to find the Rainbowsaurus. We're following a rainbow. Who would like to join us? Hiss, said the orange snake. Ribbit, said the yellow frog, and off they marched together. Ribbit, hiss, moo. Rainbowsaurus, where are you? We're following a rainbow to find the Rainbowsaurus. We're following a rainbow. Won't you come and join us? Oink, said the green pig. Growl, said the indigo bear. Gobble, said the violet turkey, and off they marched together. Oink, hiss, ribbit, oink. Rainbowsaurus, where are you? We're following a rainbow. Come along and join us. We're following a rainbow to find the Rainbowsaurus. Quack, said the black duck. Buzz, said the brown bee. Baa, said the blue sheep. Hee-haw, said the pink donkey. Cock-a-doodle-doo, said the white rooster, and off they marched together. Ribbit, hiss, baa, buzz. Growl, gobble, quack, oink. Rainbowsaurus, where are you? I'm right behind you, said the Rainbowsaurus. Roar! Then off they marched together. Roar, ribbit, gobble, quack, cock-a-doodle-doo. Rainbowsaurus, we love you. Wasn't that nice? This is what the Attorney General and the Secretary of State are threatening libraries about. Books like this that are not anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with them. Families deserve to have access to the materials they want to see, and I do not believe in government censorship or in the defunding of libraries who would provide one out of hundreds of story times that they've done this year. Only one featured books specifically for LGBT families. And so this is an attack on the gay community in Missouri. And again, I am a lifelong Missourian from rural Missouri. That is not what I grew up to believe. I grew up to believe that we are supposed to look out for each other and care about each other and not judge. This is a government censorship, and I truly believe that every parent has the right to read to their children. cute little storybooks like Rainbowsaurus. So if anyone has any questions, I would love to answer them to the best of my ability. Yeah.
How do you think this whole rhetoric and this conversation around these books could impact LGBTQ plus youth in the state?
I think there is no question that this will cause harm to gay and trans youth in Missouri, and it horrifies me, having been a 16-year-old in rural Missouri. What people like this are saying is going to make their lives much harder. It's going to potentially turn families against each other, and that is not what we should be bringing people together in the legislature. We should not be attacking families for looking different than ours.
From your best estimation, how did we get here with this conversation from the, downstairs with the Secretary of State to now looking at banning books and reducing funding?
Yeah, I think, I assumed Hoskins would have work to do, with an election coming up next week, but I guess this was top priority, was defunding libraries. Can you ask your question again?
How did we get here? How do you think that they got to the conclusion that we're here at now?
Yeah, Project 2025 lays it out. Like the eventual goal of people who are willing to just toe whatever the party line is from the top are planning to make it so any affirming teacher or librarian is on the sex offender registry, and that anything with LGBT content is considered pornographic. That is a goal of Project 2025 that is clearly stated in the forward, and I had thought we were better than that in Missouri and that we would not just toe to that line of bigotry and awfulness, but unfortunately the Attorney General and the Secretary of State have made the decision to go forward with that and to harm our communities.
Pardon me if you said already, but these books, do you have any LGBTQ content?
Right, isn't that a good question? So I guess what the offending thing in Rainbowsaurus was that even though there is no mention of any LGBT content, it is implied through the drawings that there are two fathers in this family. So that is what was so offensive that their library was threatened to be defunded, was because that's what the family looks like. That is a gross misuse of the statute, and it is unconscionable that they are considering this something that should be removed from libraries and lead to the defunding of libraries. That is horrifying.
What can you say about the support seen by the public here today?
I mean, that story time was the best attended story time I have ever been to in my years in library world. And so I think there is I think with so many things, there is a lack of awareness what is real for the people of Missouri from the top, from our elected officials, because most of us do not spend as much time. Most people in the gay and trans community do not spend nearly as much time as the Secretary of State Hoskins or Senator Bratton spend thinking about the gay and trans community. I promise we do not think about the community as often as they think about us.
Representative, the book they really, really took issue with was The Wig.
Was Big Wig?
Yeah, it was Big Wig.
I can read it too. I know y'all got it.
It seems like the drag is this real sticking point.
Yeah.
This drag. So what is the LGBTQ plus community say in defense of that?
I think that this is about a kid playing dress up. And again, I'd be happy to read it, I know, if that is wanted. But it is about a kid playing dress up.
Can you by chance bring it forward? Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Find a cute one. Yeah, it is about a kid playing dress up and going to a big wig ball and being allowed to wear a wig to it. And if that is worth defunding libraries just because this book is accessible to families, then we have hit a point in a horrible authoritarian situation in which we would allow the government to censor books just because they have content like this. That answer your question?
And what can the legislature do? They're talking about taking this into statute. What can the legislature do? What will the legislature do when funding is threatened? And I guess the question is, does he have the ability to, in one fell swoop, take this funding away in an executive order?
I mean, through the budget process, that is possible for libraries. I would think that it seems like they intend to sue the Daniel Boone library system, which is, again, horrifying. But there's no doubt in my mind that they will take this into session. We have seen 20 years of Republican rule in Missouri, and they need something to stay in the headlines because their economic policies are horrible. They are bankrupting the state with their tax policies. This is all they've got, is attacking people. We need policies that are actually helping Missouri. And the idea of defunding the libraries, we're in a process right now where they're essentially defunding everything. They've spent down an $8 billion surplus we had just a few years ago. They are now trying to cut 60% of the general revenue. They are destroying our state. And so if you need attention to not be on that, find a children's book.
I was love to ask, just kind of similar to that, I had actually spoke with Representative Steinhoff, and she kind of voiced a little bit of confusion in terms of the funds have already been allotted to libraries this year. So I guess as a representative, do you have any comment on that, on how funds are moving around?
My assumption is to take him at his word on his threat to libraries and to education, and I assume that they will bring this back up in the budget process next year.
And sorry, quick follow-up, I noticed the stickers on those books.
They are from the library.
But is it from Jefferson City or from?
I actually got these from the Columbia Library on the way here today. So I have them on hold in the Kansas City Public Library as well. Apologies to anyone waiting for them.
But for clarification for our listeners, there's nothing that Hoskins could do right now to just stop or stymie those funds.
I don't want to speculate on that. Any other questions? You want me to read Bigwig? What are we doing?
Yes.
I mean, wait, I'm asking the press though, because they've got places to. Yeah, any other questions? I mean, I'll be available as well.
I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Have you talked to the representatives and the senator from this district? Because this is not Bratton's district, it's yours.
No, well, it is my hometown's district. He represents my hometown, not my current district.
What kind of response are they, have you talked to these colleagues?
Yeah, no, actually, I just talked to one moments ago. I think everyone is just confused on why this is even a topic because, again, no one was forced to be there. Families chose to bring their children to this story time, and I was there. It was a wholesome event, and there was, again, probably 150 people there. It was the library serving its community and something that was desired in its community. That shouldn't be politicized, and it shouldn't lead to threats from our elected officials.
What would that, where you're talking about the reduced funding, what would that do to libraries?
That would harm the rural libraries and rural education systems more than anyone else because they rely so much on state funding. And so essentially what they're doing is just making sure that no books are accessible to rural Missourians, which again, coming from rural Missouri is a horrible thing. The library is where you go when you want to direct what you get to read, when you want your family to get to direct what you want to read. It's not like getting an assignment. You get to choose, which helps our literacy rates astronomically, and we are currently in a literacy crisis in Missouri, and to scare people away from the library and to pretend they're bad people for having books available to kids is not going to help our literacy rates any in Missouri. It's going to harm them. They are actively harming our youth through attacks on libraries.
Is there any concerns that this is just the tip of the iceberg where it starts as a children's book and then potentially snowballs from there for other material? Or?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, I think it's laid out very clearly in Project 2025 that the ultimate goal is to put any affirming librarian or teacher on the sex offender registry and to consider anything with gender ideology as something that is pornographic. That is very clearly stated in Project 2025, and so I think this is the beginning of, unfortunately, an attack on Missourians' access to information.
I guess as a follow-up, as a minority party in the state, how do you guys draw the line and stop that from happening, or I guess plan to push back against that?
Well, we organize a last-minute press conference and drive 2.5 hours unexpectedly on a day where you had other plans to make sure to to be here to fight it. I don't know. It depends on what they do and how seriously they go forward with this. I think we all know it's a campaign stunt for the senator running for Congress, and hopefully they will realize how ridiculous it is and how Missourians support their libraries. Missourians support the children in their communities, and Missourians support families that don't look like theirs. And feel free to call the office if anyone has any follow-up questions. I'll be available. But yeah, and thank you all for being here. I didn't know you all would be here, so it was great. Appreciate it.